Mr. Hastert. Mr. Hastert, what do you have to say?
Lots of questions for Dennis Hastert from reporters, but no answers.
The former Speaker of the House silently coming and going at the Dirksen Federal Building. He's accused of financial wrongdoing and lying to the FBI. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kate Sullivan.
And I'm Rob Johnson. But bubbling beneath the surface, allegations and innuendo far more sinister. Our team coverage begins with Chief Correspondent Jay Levine live at the Dirksen Federal Building. Jay.
In the courthouse behind me, Robin, Kate Hastert pleaded not guilty, agreed to stay away from victims, surrender his passport, and remove firearms from his home. But the real questions for Hastert about alleged sexual misconduct were asked, though not answered, outside.
Will you comment, sir, on the allegations? Speaker, did you abuse children at Yorkville?
Sexual abuse never came up in court, as Hastert formally pleaded not guilty to financial crimes and lying to the FBI. But the underlying sexual misconduct hung heavy over Judge Thomas Dirksen's courtroom, with Hastert signing an agreement to, among other things, avoid contact with any person who may be a victim or witness in this case. Despite the not guilty plea, many, including former prosecutor and Hastert political ally Pat Brady, doubt there'll ever be a trial.
Because the nature of the charging, the currency transaction reporting, it's tough to defend against.
The former House Speaker has already been hustled from a place of honor in Illinois political history to a so-called perp walk of shame, and has said nothing other than his not guilty plea in court to deny either the financial charges in the indictment or the underlying alleged sexual misconduct with high school students.
Anytime we can hold the sexual perpetrator accountable, it's a really good thing.
Even if it's not for sexual abuse as opposed to financial crimes.
Exactly. I think that we have to do what we can.
Judge Thomas Dirksen, as we predicted 10 days ago, dealt with the issue of impartiality over small political contributions to Hastert and an association with Hastert's son, actually disqualifying himself, but giving both sides the opportunity to request that he stay on.
You can't get a finer jurist than Tom Dirksen. He's just a great guy, so he did the right thing.
Judge Dirksen said there was no doubt in his mind that he could be impartial, but in essence, he threw the ball back into the attorney's court. And because of that controversy, there was no hint today as to whether or not there were negotiations underway for a guilty plea by Hastert. We won't know that until the two sides gather again, Rob and Kate, before Judge Dirksen or his replacement.
So, Jay, that would be in a couple of days then, correct? And then you might know where they're headed there?
Yeah, usually in a case like this, in an arraignment like this, questions asked about, okay, what's the schedule of court dates and appearances, etc., will lead you to believe, and they might even say, well, we're talking about a possible plea, and you might get a hint there. In this case, they haven't even talked about when they might get together again. That won't happen until at least Thursday or later.
Okay, Jay Levine, thank you. Appreciate it.
And here's what's also next for Hastert, depending on what happens with the judge. Judge Thomas Dirksen says he intends to disqualify himself because in the past he made contributions to Hastert's campaigns. He also worked with Hastert's son at a law firm, but he gave both sides an opportunity to request that he stay on. Both sides have until 4 p.m. this Thursday to decide.